Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast, Retro Life for You, movies of the 1980s. We are in our second week of the month of December doing our Christmas holiday movies.
In the
Last,
order that Ray Chili Phillips requested.
that's right, because Ray Phillips is the man, and we respect the man.
hmm
Maybe not his Georgia football team, but we respect the man, though.
Yeah.
So, last week was Gremlins. This week is a holiday favorite. I can't believe we haven't done this already, though. To be honest with you.
Right?
Um, but today we are doing Christmas Vacation.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
uh,
Melikaliki Maka.
Mele Kalikimaka Tiki Taka Baka to you,
Yeah.
whatever you said. Yeah. Christmas Vacation. Of all the National Lampoon Vacation movies, which one's actually your favorite?
The newer one where they oddly enough where they went what is it? European? Where
No,
they drank
the newest was Vegas Vacation, I believe.
yeah, well not the newest, but the newer one. I think it no, because this one did maybe it had Chevy Chase in it. I don't remember. They went to Europe and the the brother and the sister they were cousins or brother and sister, and they went to a club and drank absinthe, and then they made out. And like the next day, they were like, "Ugh."
Oh, wait, is this
It
one of
was
those?
it was a National Lampoon, but I don't think it was. It wasn't one of the older ones.
Okay, so now is this supposed to be a carry on of the vacation movies like Chevy Chase did? Because
Yes.
there was another Christmas Vacation, which was based upon I think Rusty doing his thing.
Yeah, it's a National Lampoon, but I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the Griswolds. I know that it is the Griswolds, but I don't think it's got Chevy Chase in it. That's why I said it's a newer one. But
Yeah,
I know for sure it's a National Lampoons.
I think they may have moved on to his kids trying to do stuff, and I've never seen any of those with the kids. Like Rusty's version
No,
of
dude,
doing
this one
the
was hilarious. They all the kids were like running around. They're teenagers and or barely of age, and they're all running around in Europe. And they went to a nightclub, and they all drank absinthe. And like they're sitting on the steps the next morning, all hungover and feeling bad. Somebody said something. It's like, dude, you made out with your sister. It's like it was hilarious.
was it a National Lampoon movie that I remember seeing where it's called the uh you know what, this might be the one you've seen now that I'm thinking about it. Did there was there a scene where they go in on like on this train and they go through this dark tunnel and there's a guy there with them and he takes advantage of them while they're in the dark tunnel?
Yeah, I think it's Fred Armisen, isn't it? One like every time they go through a tunnel, his hands like closer to it, like his hands on his leg or something. It's like, oh, scusi, scusi,
It's cozy. Yeah, yeah, that's
scusi,
it.
scusi. Yeah.
That is not a National Improvement like a Griswold trip. That was
Yeah.
it was just simply called oh my god, was it just
I can't recall. I know it was a National Lampoon, but I can't remember what the title was though.
I remember the movie
Out
though.
of the out of the Griswolds though, I would say Christmas Vacation would be my favorite.
Yeah, let's stick with just the Griswolds. So your Griswolds, so Christmas Vacation as your
Yeah,
fun
that
list.
Fred Armisen, excuse it. Didn't it show he had his pants off smoking a cigarette on the last
Yeah,
one or something? He's like,
yeah,
oh, excuse it.
yeah, exactly. Um, it's not, is that also the one where at the beginning of it there's it's got what is Ben Affleck's buddy's name?
Matt Damon?
Matt Damon singing "Scotty Doesn't Know." Scotty doesn't know. It was. Is
It
it the
might
same
be.
one?
I don't know. I don't remember that part. It might
Okay,
be.
well, I
I just remember
might
highlights from it.
I might be getting two movies mixed together then at this point. I don't know.
That's like this one. I didn't get a chance to rewatch this one, so I just remember from what I having to recall from what I remember seeing so many times over in the past. I didn't get a chance because we was major construction going on at the house again.
Oh no, what happened this time?
We're having them come in and do the waterproofing or water control whatever to our basement the day after Christmas.
Wow.
So everything downstairs has got to be 5 feet off the wall. Some of it I'm not even gonna. I'm just moving because I'm not gonna just cover it up with all the dust and everything, like a 70-inch TV, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of stuff going on.
The
And get
movie,
ready for the camping trip.
the movie, by the way, is Euro Trip.
Euro Trip. That's what it was.
Yes, Euro Trip. I just
Yeah,
looked it up.
Euro Trip. National
2004.
Lampoon's Euro Trip.
That was
Yeah, if y'all hadn't seen that one, go watch that one. That one's hilarious. That one's my favorite out of all the National Lampoons.
It's a very funny movie, definitely. Well, like I said, this week we're going to do the Christmas Vacation. Got a little synopsis here to read for the people, just in case you're maybe blanking on which one it is, or you just haven't seen it. Who knows? But the Griswolds are our favorite people in the National Lampoon history.
Absolutely.
So Clark Griswold, Clark W. Griswold, that is, the well-meaning but hapless family man, is determined to have the perfect family Christmas. Despite his best intentions, chaos unfolds as his plans for a picturesque holiday spiral into a series of hilarious disasters. From putting up an absurd number of Christmas lights to dealing with unexpected house guests, the Griswolds are constantly teetering between catastrophe and heartwarming moments of togetherness. Speaking of unexpected house guests, this part just really cracked me up. They're going down the line as they're looking at the lights, I think, finally. And he's so glad everybody could be here. And he's thanking his mom and dad and Ellen's mom and dad. And he's like, Russ, Audrey, Eddie, it's great to see you. And then Eddie, there's cousin Eddie all of a sudden.
Pulling up in the daggum RV.
In the RV. He's in the RV now.
That's Randy Quaid, wasn't it?
Randy Quaid, yes.
Dude, he was hilarious. Everybody was hilarious in this movie. But Randy Quaid and Chevy Chase, man, they were something else.
Yeah, Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid showed up in like his Elmer Fudd hat and boxer shorts and a daggum bathrobe.
He said, "Shh, be very, very quiet. We're hunting a place to park the RV."
Right.
Crapper's full. Randy Quaid, if I get to go, is going to be at one of the 2 Nashville Comic Cons coming up next year. There's one in March and one in June, and he's at the one in June. I'm sorry, the one in March. It's going to be somewhere near the airport, I think.
Would you have him sign something from National Lampoon, or would you have him sign something from Independence Day? Remember in Independence Day, he was talking about how they probed him and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I loved him.
He flew the plane. He was the hero at the end of Independence Day.
He was, yes. He was. So, I don't know. Man.
He was great in that movie, honestly.
It didn't matter. I don't have anything either way for him to sign unless I bought something.
Right.
I'd have to buy a movie or something like that. I used to have Independence Day on DVD, but lost that when I had that hurricane in Florida we were in. So,
oh man,
I lost all my movies pretty much for the most part. So I would have had that at the very least. But I mean, hopefully I get to go to both of them. I'd like to go to both of them because the one where Randy Quaid's going to be at, there's also going to be Chris Sarandon. There's going to be Martin Cove. And one other person, I forget who it is now. There was one other person of interest. C. Thomas Howell, but I've already seen him last
Pony
year
Boy.
in Knoxville. Yeah, seen Pony Boy last year in Knoxville. Now at the upcoming one in at the fairgrounds in Nashville in June, it's already highlighted, headlining with Sean Astin.
Yeah, I got to get going to some more of these things. I'm so sad now that I'll never get to see Tony Todd.
Yeah, you missed your chance on that one. Now
he came. Look, he was here like 2 years ago.
With Sean Astin coming to Nashville, should I get something signed for Lord of the Rings or something from the Goonies?
You got to do one of each, man.
I mean, it's also we can't leave Rudy out of the equation.
Oh, you can get a football helmet.
I mean, if I was a Notre Dame fan, I'd really have to think about.
You could even go with Stranger Things. You could get the flashlight. I got the flashlight from Stranger Things. You get him to sign it.
Yeah.
Well, was he Bob? Wasn't he Bob in Stranger Things?
I didn't watch past the first season still, so I don't know.
Oh.
Not entirely
He
sure.
wasn't in the first season.
No, it was not.
Oh,
But
well.
so we got you picked Christmas Vacation. I really liked the European Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty funny. So I
They're
kind of
all
steered,
funny.
they are, but I kind of steered toward that. This movie came out on December 1st, so it's a true Christmas movie for sure. Not to mention it's Christmas all the way through. But if there's anybody out there who wants to make any question whatsoever, everything about this movie is nothing but Christmas. The released
Right.
on December 1st of 89, $28 million budget estimated. Opening weekend, $11,750,203. Gross worldwide, $74,540,604. It's funny. Chris Columbus was going to be he was the original director for this movie.
Oh, really?
Yes, but he could not get along with Chevy Chase at all. And they say Chevy Chase is one of the hardest people to work with in Hollywood.
How about that?
So you wouldn't think, as funny as he is and everything, but just goes to show you don't know people,
Right.
So Jeremiah Chechik is the director with screenplays by John Hughes. So while John Hughes he didn't direct it, this is a screenplay of his. Now,
because it would have been a love story.
to help Chris Columbus out a little bit, though, and make up for giving him the difficulty of Chevy Chase and everything, he worked with him and got him another movie that he could direct. It also was a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And if you haven't figured it out already, we're talking about Home Alone. And that movie made 4 times the money that Christmas Vacation made. So it's almost like he got his his somewhat revenge, if you want to call it, back at Chevy Chase for being hard to work with. Oh, I take it back. He at
least got fairly compensated.
It says he earned over 6 times the amount of money that Lampoon's did.
Wow.
With a budget of almost $10 million less.
There you go.
So he really made something out of that. Your main people in this movie: Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Randy Quaid, Juliette Lewis, and Johnny Galecki. As in with every movie they do, the children are completely different people every time playing the kids. So this time around, Juliette Lewis and Johnny Galecki play Audrey and Rusty. And you mentioned it a second ago, Johnny Galecki. For those of you, if you recognize the name Galecki, you're not sure why. That's Leonard Hofstadter. If you watch Big Bang Theory, and he was David on Roseanne.
David, yep. Leonard Hofstadter. I'm rewatching Big Bang. I'm on the 12th season now. Such a good show.
It was a hilarious show, man. Very funny.
It's so good.
When I was younger, when it didn't work, here we go off topic again. But it was when I was younger, it was always NBC for me. That's all I would watch. The NBC sitcoms, NBC action TV, dramas, whatever. And it's completely flipped to CBS. As I've gotten older, all the best shows and best comedies have been on CBS now.
I jumped around. I guess when I was, I guess in the mid 80s, I guess it would have been those. But then when Fox came around, and then the WB, which turned into the CW, and I don't know what it is now. I flip back and forth between Fox and the WB all the time.
I think it's still the CW now.
Is it the CW?
Yeah, it's still CW, I believe, isn't it?
Okay.
Or CW different. Fox was different than CW.
Yeah, Fox was trying to. Well, Fox started out around here as 12, and then it moved to 21 on free TV. And then, because I remember when we didn't have Fox. Fox showed up, and then the WB came out, and that was channel 40 around here.
See, now correct me if I'm wrong though. Fox is where the Gary Shandling show debuted on, and
Tracy Ullman was on there.
Exactly, Tracy Ullman and them. Yeah.
Yep.
So I was watching those. I believe that changed. Didn't Fox change to WB, or did WB come out as a different station?
WB came out and changed to CW.
Okay, and for those of y'all who listen about CW, that's where you might have watched the Arrowverse shows like Flash, Green Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow. You got Supernatural, which is probably the leading show on that network
Mm-hmm.
for a long time. A lot of great shows came out on CW over the years for sure, as well as Fox.
I think some Saturday morning stuff came out there too. I think Animaniacs came out on the WB because
That's
it was
very
Warner
possible.
Brothers.
Yes,
Yeah.
very possible. Um, so back to the movie. Some of the key plot points in the movie to kind of jump around a little bit. The very first thing that stands out is the way it starts out. They're going down the road singing, and you got Chevy Chase as Clark putting on
Is that
his best opera sound singing.
is that the part where they almost wrecked with the transfer truck stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're going down the road and they're singing some song, and then the wife Ellen's like, "Oh, Clark, that's beautiful." Then he goes, "Duck the halls with boughs of holly," and he starts singing, "La la 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 la," and they start singing the song, and he gets to the point where he goes, "Hit it, take it, Russ." And it's
Take it,
complete,
Russ.
it's complete silence. He's like, "La la 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 la." But they're trying to get away from from these guys in this truck acting crazy. Still a couple of rednecks in this blue truck. Which, by the way, the blue truck, if for those of you who remember the blue truck, it was used in two other movies as well. I just seen this earlier. I'll get back to it when I'm going over some of the. Uh, well, actually, I see it right now. It was the blue work truck that Kurt Russell used in Overboard, and it was also in the movie They Live with Roddy Piper as well. I'm not sure.
Dang.
I'm not sure what it was used for in there, but it's been used in several movies as the same
The
prop.
same truck.
Same
That's a
truck.
trip. No, we talk about
Yep.
same locations. You don't hear many same cars.
Right, it's the exact same truck basically. So, but they finally make it to get to their destination. They were going to get the perfect Griswold family tree. There's only one perfect tree that's out there, and Clark will know it when he sees it. And they finally find this one tree all by itself out there after hours of walking in the cold weather in the snow, and Audrey's eyes are frozen open. And she can't feel herself from the waist down. He sees this tree that's got this aura all about it with lights shining already, and he's like, "That's
Yeah.
it. That's the Griswold family tree." And
That's
then
the
Rusty's like,
Griswold family tree.
Dad, did you bring a saw?" Uh-oh. No saw. So then it cuts to them going back down the road, and the tree's on top of the station wagon with all the roots and everything on it. It's hilarious.
Right.
Jumping from there to you got the epic light display, which is something that stands out as a big part of the movie. The
The
neighbors,
cat.
the cat, exactly. Yes, his neighbors were funny though. That was Julia Louise Dreyfus and some other
Yeah.
guy, and they hated him. They could not stand him. And then he comes out there with this tree, and they're like Griswold, where are you gonna put that tree? He says, "Bend over, and I'll show you." He says, "Don't talk to me like that." He goes, "Wasn't talking to you." But when he finally gets his lights going, it's blinding them next door. It's so big. The light show is so
Right.
big. They can't see nothing. They're falling over each other. They're breaking wine glasses everywhere.
Yeah, they show like a welding arc coming through, like floodlights coming in their windows.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Don't it
Of
show the
course,
meter starts spinning off the hook too? Like the meter starts going near.
yes, and then you see the person at the place in town
Yeah.
locally hit this switch. It says nuclear power. And the rest of the town's power comes back because he was draining all of the town of their power with all of his lights. It looked like. Oh my gosh! You got Cousin Eddie arrives, which I mentioned earlier. Clark's bonus debacle, which is probably one of the funniest parts in the movie.
Yeah.
He plans to build a pool for the family with his bonus that he's gotten every year since being there, and he's done put a $7,500 deposit down on it to get it built. And if he don't get this this bonus, that check he wrote for the deposit is going to bounce. It's not going to be good. So he waits and waits and finds out that the mailman accidentally dropped his letter between the seats. He found it and he was giving it to him. And so Clark's all excited to go in and see what his bonus is, and finds out that it's a gift that keeps on giving, as Cousin Eddie said. It was a subscription to a Jelly of the Month club.
Jelly of the month.
Yeah, so of course this leads on to Clark just losing his mind at this point. He's he's not happy. Everybody's wanting to leave and go home. He's not letting nobody leave, and he says about wanting a present this year, and he wants that guy brought to him with a bow in his head, from his rich little neighborhood right here to his house there. So he can
Yeah.
tell him. And he's got this long, drawn out line of what it was that he was calling him and describing him as, and it was mostly ad libbed. But they said in this thing I read, that was talking about during that scene, all of his co-stars were in front of him, spread around the room, with different signs on their shirts with words on them, and
That's hilarious.
he was picking words out of random of things he wants to call him, and he did all this just that quick and that easy, spitting it out of what he called him, and then at the end it was like, "Hallelujah, where's the Tylenol?" It's a it's a funny movie.
That's a trip. Those guys, that generation, that like whole set of guys were great at that, with the ad libs and stuff.
Yes,
Like every one
yes.
of them. I know Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Candy, like all of them were
Aykroyd.
just Aykroyd. Yeah, every one of them were just great at that.
They really were. Um, you mentioned earlier the squirrel incident. Squirrel hiding in the Christmas tree when he goes to replace the Christmas tree because, as he kept saying, the tree was going to dry out. The dog kept drinking the water out of the bowl, which he kept doing. And then the
Yep.
uncle is lighting his cigar by the tree, and the whole tree goes up and poof. So cuts him one out of the yard or the neighbor's yard.
Neighbor's yard, I think.
And comes find there's a squirrel in there, which decides to run rampant throughout the house, and the dog chases the squirrel and is tearing everything off the tables, and it's just crazy. But holiday redemption, despite the setbacks,
Right.
the Griswolds managed to come together for a heartwarming Christmas moment, and that's usually how it is. The movie really has a nice meaning behind it, which is wanting to have family time, do family
For
things.
sure.
That's all Clark wants to do, is just have good family times like he had when he was younger with his parents. And just something always came up, but you overcome it and you go forward. And it's just in Clark's case, something comes up and then it multiplies.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Getting electrocuted, the cat
Right.
the cat started the fire, the cat got him electrocuted. I forget which one.
The cat got
Or the cat
electrocuted.
got electrocuted.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cat got electrocuted because isn't that
Right.
big old bundle of lights up in the attic or something?
No. It was down there where the tree was, but it kept chewing on the light.
Oh, was it? Oh,
And
is
there
that what
was
it was?
this outline of it on the floor. You hear meow. And the cat's only there because the aunt that's coming there,
Yeah.
she wrapped it up and brought it as a gift because she gets confused, as Ellen says. I'd like to go over a couple of these people that we didn't. I know I mentioned a few of them that were the main stars
Mhm.
earlier, but there's some people in here that got some interesting things about them. Bringing up the lady we're talking about, which was Aunt Bethany, I believe.
Mhm.
Mae Questel. Is it Questel or Questel? I'm not sure. She plays her, but do you know who she was?
Nuh-uh.
She was the voice of Betty Boop.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so if you think about her talking in the movie, you could hear it then.
Yeah.
You could hear it and everything at that point. Definitely. Of course, I mentioned Julia Louise Dreyfus.
Veep. You gotta watch Veep if you ain't never watched Veep.
Veep. There is a girl named Mary, which I think might have been the girl in the department store that he was talking to. Played by Nicolette Scorsese, and I wonder with a name like that,
Ooh.
if there's any
That
relation.
can't be very common.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wonder if there's any relation to Martin Scorsese. I just found out the other day the woman that played Adrian in the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
Well, what is her name?
I don't remember. Olive Oil.
No, that wasn't her. That was somebody else.
She was the one that played Olive Oil was the same one that did The Shining.
Right, but who was it that played you know,
I can't remember her real name to save my life.
Talia Shire.
Hmm.
Talia Shire was in a TV series when she was younger on Saturday mornings. Her and this other woman
Hmm.
as superheroes. She
Hmm.
was listed as Talia Shire Coppola, or is it Coppola? Francis
Could be
Coppola.
Coppola. Coppola.
Coppola, just like Nicolas Cage Coppola in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. They're cousins, as it turns out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Any relation to
So
Francis Ford Coppola?
I wonder if Francis Ford Coppola is the father of her or something.
Huh.
Because
To look into that.
they said that Nick Cage was, I believe, like a nephew
Yeah.
of his. Let's see if we hear. No, her father's Carmine Coppola.
Oh.
So
See,
they're of the same family,
sound like,
I'm sure.
yeah, sound like a crime boss.
Don't it though?
What
Oh,
was
here.
it into Michael
Oh,
Carmine or something?
oh, here it is. Shire is the only daughter of Italian and arranger composer Carmine Coppola.
Coppola.
She is the sister of director and producer Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and the
That's
academic
his sister.
and of the academic August Coppola, the aunt of actor Nicolas Cage. So they're not cousins. She's his aunt, and of
Yeah.
director Sofia Coppola, and the niece of composer and conductor Anton Coppola. So
Okay. Well,
that's
Coppola's is busy, ain't they?
you know what, they are very busy apparently, very busy. So enough of that. It stood out to me when I saw that. So there's no way. Yeah, and I'm wondering now that I'm thinking about it, we're gonna check out this Nicolette Scorsese. We're gonna find out about her because inquiring minds want to know.
For sure. I
So
don't have anything in front of me to look it up with. I'm on location. I'm coming
I
at
am.
y'all on location tonight
Yeah, you on location.
from parts unknown.
Oh, on location. We could hear your traffic earlier. We know you're on location. We
Yeah.
know. So let's see here. All right, Nicolette Scorsese, are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Nicoletta. That sounds Russian.
I
Nicoletta.
don't know if it sounds Russian or not, but I mean, it's definitely
Nikolai, Nicolette,
everybody.
Nicola. Ricola.
Everybody's supposed to have a stupid. Uh, what's that play? That one page called about them. She didn't have one. I'm going to IMDb now. Let's see. Christmas Vacation, Boxing Helena, and NYPD Blue. Go down here to her information about her. No relation to Martin Scorsese. How about that?
How about that?
It says that in the trivia. No relation to Martin Scorsese. That is not a very common name, folks. I don't know how she is
Yeah,
not related to him.
that's wild. That's a very unique name.
And Doris Roberts plays the mother of Ellen. That's the
Now that
mother-in-law of her
sounds
Clark.
super familiar. That name does.
All right, everybody loves Raymond.
Oh, okay.
His
Oh,
mom.
she was Raymond's mom?
Yeah.
That's why that sounds so familiar.
E.G. Marshall plays the father is played by Art Smith. I'm sorry, Art Smith is played by E.G. Marshall. He's been in quite a few things, but he's mostly like an old school guy like Doris Roberts is. Diane Ladd played Nora Griswold.
Is she related to Cheryl?
That's a possibility. I don't know if I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole though. I mean, that one's not
Cheryl and Diane Ladd.
That one's not as important. At first, I thought I saw Diane Lane. I'm like, no way, that's not Diane Lane. Don't be disgracing.
No way.
Don't be disgracing Diane Lane's name like that. That is not cool. But they had a very solid cast. I like the main cast with Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo with Juliette Lewis and Johnny Galecki as the kids. Now, this was a young Johnny Galecki, okay? So, I mean, for those of you who are thinking Leonard Hofstadter, he looks nothing like Leonard Hofstadter in this movie.
He's a little kid.
Yeah, he's a young
This
kid
is
in this
pre
one.
David.
Yeah, this is pre everything you're used to seeing him in. The only other thing you saw him in about that time was Prancer, and he was one of the kids in class that was making fun of teasing the girl about the reindeer. So back to where we were over here, though. Let's jump a little bit up here. Um, while I'm looking this over, what was some of your what do you think your favorite part of the movie was? Your absolute favorite scene in there, or just
Probably the
better yet, don't. It's kind of hard to say what our favorites are. We do this every time, and we just
yeah.
we're torn in trying to find one. Tell me a scene that stands out in your mind about this movie that you really liked that you thought was funny.
There's two toss ups. One of actually no, the one my name Meli Kalikimaka where he's like daydreaming out the window or something,
Yeah,
looking at the chick getting undressed to go swimming, and that song's playing Meli Kalikimaka. He's wanting to be in Hawaii or something, but then he's like looking out the window, and then the little girl, his niece or whoever, comes walking up on him.
yeah,
Scares the crap out of him. I thought that one was great, and then the part with the brown water where they lose the toilet water in the RV.
yeah.
Yeah, I like them.
I thought that when he went to the mall, and yeah, I guess it's him and Russ, and it's just that I don't know if the rest of them were there or not, but Russ is the one that walks up on him. He's talking to the girl behind the counter, flirting. I don't even call it flirting because it's so awkward.
Yeah.
I was like, that would be me all day long. I would be trying to say something, but I wouldn't get the right words out. I would stumble over everything. My tongue would probably have me wrap back up into my mouth or something because well, what's just standing in front of me there. But he's just, and he keeps trying to say things that are, I mean, it makes sense when he says it like it's cold outside. Yeah, it's a bit nipply outside. Oh, did I say
Yeah.
nipply? I meant nipple. I meant no. Why would I say
Right.
nipple? Why would I say that? I mean, it's very cold out there, though. I mean,
Very cold out there.
and then all these other. This is really hilarious. I mean, I know we say this all the time. But if you haven't seen this movie, definitely put this on your list for a Christmas movie this year to
Oh,
watch.
for sure.
You would not be let down anyway. As a matter of fact, this movie is a staple in many households every year. I know one of my
Oh,
best
for
friends,
sure.
one of my best friends from high school. He still every year they watch this movie.
Yeah.
And
It's right up there with A Christmas Story for a lot of people.
and that's what I was telling him. A Christmas Story is what I watch every year. Not everybody's the same now. It used to be every year I had to watch A Christmas Story, and then I would watch Elf.
Yeah.
If you're talking just older movies only, it's really more or less A Christmas Story. I'll watch Home Alone if it's on, and it usually is. I'll watch Christmas Vacation if I'm not doing anything else, and it's not because I don't prioritize it because I don't like it. It's just that there's so many things going on anyway,
Right.
and just in everyday life that I'm still trying to catch up on some movies I picked up watching the other day that I've been wanting to watch for years and years and years. Never did. There are a series of movies called Left Behind.
Yes, with
that-
Kirk Cameron.
right. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I know all about him.
Okay, so I finally watched the first one the other day,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Wow, I wish I'd watched this years ago, like I wanted to, because it's pretty good." So I get the
Very
second
good
one.
story. For those of you that don't know, it's the story of Revelation. Well, it's not tech. It deals with what happens during Revelation.
Yeah, so I say yes and no
Left
because
Behind is where, yeah,
it's the rapture basically,
the rapture, yeah,
and then you get to the second
which
movie,
happens in Revelations.
right in the Book of Revelations, right, and you get into the second movie, and you're moving towards the stuff about tribulation, because the movie is called Tribulation Force, as a
Right.
subtitle, and I don't know
Yeah,
if there's a third one or not. Is there a third one?
Yeah, I think there's 4.
Okay. Let's keep my eyes open for them.
Yeah,
then,
it
too,
deals with a
because-
lot of stuff of how there's the reason it's called Left Behind. It focuses in on how a lot of people think that they're going in, they're not, but they have a second chance during tribulation to make it.
right, because there's always chance for forgiveness and everything, and if you go ahead and give your life as you're I guess expected to do, that you still have that chance to make it in the second go around. People watching
Yeah.
this movie for the first time who's not familiar with the story would look at it, and I guarantee you today, if I showed this movie to some people I know today that aren't familiar with the story of Revelations or anything, they would be like, "Dude, Thanos done went and snapped that glove again.
Right. Yep.
Look how many people's disappeared. It's just clothes left behind. What's up
Yeah.
with that?" But and then it gives you the direct, the direct quotes, the scriptures from the Bible based on
For sure.
how everything is supposed to go in the movie, and one after one, it lines up perfectly. You know, but yeah, so
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get back to that as soon as I can. But like I said, so many things happen, and you get caught up in things, and then you got work, then you got your regular everyday business you got to
Yep.
handle. But every year I do watch Christmas Story, and the main reason why is because it's on 24 hours from New Year's Eve through New Year's Day. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Christmas Eve. I'm sorry, Christmas Eve to Christmas Day. There's no way you're not going to watch it at least once, even if you skip a bit of it and catch the rerun of it again and pick up where you left off. You're going to watch the
Right.
movie one whole time at the very least throughout the
I
whole
think I've
day.
only got one that I do actually watch every single year since it came out. I think I've only got one, and that's Jingle All the Way.
I love Jingle All the Way.
That's my favorite Christmas movie.
It is a great one.
And I can't believe Tasha and I just watched Christmas with the Cranks this weekend. I can't believe all the time we've been together, she's never watched that with me. I'm like, what? There's no way. Like I've
there's
seen this
a
movie 100 times.
there's another movie, a Christmas movie. It's in the 2000s, I think, or I think it's before. I think it's between 2000 and 2010. It's called Four Christmases, I believe.
Hmm. Oh yes, that's ain't that Vince Vaughn and uh
Jennifer
oh
Aniston.
shoot, I couldn't remember her name last time either.
Is it Jennifer
No,
Aniston,
it's
or is it the girl from Nashville here?
yes, that one.
Sweet Home
R-
Alabama, Legally Blonde.
yes, that's the one.
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon. There we go. It
Yeah,
was where his cousin, his brother's son, like his nephew, he's like, "Google me, bitch."
yeah.
Yeah,
It do the MMA stuff. I think it was
yeah.
Robert
Yeah, his
Duvall's his
brother was
father.
happy. His brother
Yeah,
was happy from dang what you call it, John
yeah,
Favreau.
yeah. John Favreau. Yeah, a lot of people. Like John Favreau does all this directing and stuff now for Star Wars stuff. Man, he's awesome. I wonder where he came from. Well, let's see. He's happy in the Marvel movies. He's from. He was in
He
the
was
movie Rudy.
remember too. He was dating Elaine on Friends on Seinfeld, and he was going to be the damn MMA fighter in there. He had always come in all beat up,
Oh
black
no,
eye and
no,
stuff.
no! You got it back. It was Friends, but it was Monica he
Oh,
was
was it
dating.
Friends? Was it Friends and Monica?
Yeah,
I thought it was Elaine and Seinfeld. So it's
host.
Friends and yeah, it was Monica he was dating
Right,
on
right.
Friends.
It was Pete, I believe. He's a
Yeah,
millionaire.
he was hilarious on that show.
He was. He was. So the key themes of this movie. So if we haven't made your mind up for you yet on watching it,
Oh, he was in that. You were thinking Jennifer Aniston. John Favreau was in that movie too, where him and Jennifer Aniston were married, and then they ended up breaking up and getting back together or something. It's the first movie we got to see her booty. But remember, that was in the bar, and he's like gonna go after this dude, and
oh,
he's like, no, it's better that you don't know anything.
Jennifer
And
Aniston and John Favreau, or Jennifer Aniston with
it
Vince
was
Vaughn.
Jennifer. It was Jennifer and Vince Vaughn were a couple, and John Favreau was his friend. But he was in the bar. He's like, "No, I'll take care of it." He's like, "Dude, you don't have to do anything." He's like, "No, you're right. You're right. It's better you don't know anything." He's like, "Dude,
Yeah,
no." It's like,
I knew something like that. I knew they were in one together at least though. So,
yeah,
but like I was saying, if we haven't changed your mind yet and makes you want to watch this movie, your key themes of this movie is to basically the pursuit of perfection with an imperfect situation, because there's
yeah,
no way you see this how he's set up. You know it's set for disaster from the beginning, but yet at the same time he's still chasing that good family memory of having one more big family Christmas together.
hmm
The
and he
family
don't
love.
quit.
He does not quit. No, it does not. The family love and dysfunction during the holidays, that's a real thing. Every time, every family, big or small, when you all get together at Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever it may be, there is going to be some dysfunction with some of the family members that are notoriously known for not getting along together too well or anything. Like, you know, It's just it
100%.
is what it is. It happens every time. Followed with the comedic clash of expectations versus reality. You're expecting maybe, you know, everything to go wrong in the movie. Every little thing that can go wrong is going to go wrong, and it's going to just triple or quadruple on top of it. But yet, at the same time, reality sets in that this is a nice family moment for them, and everything comes together. Even when the boss gets kidnapped by cousin Eddie, and the boss says he's not pressing no charges. It's my fault. I did this, and that's it. Everybody's on him, and the policeman there is like, even, man, I got a mind to take a rubber hose after you. You know,
Right.
you know. He says, "Well, I changed my mind. I didn't know it really affected people this badly." So you get a happy ending because he gets the raise. I'm sorry, not the raise, the bonus of what he got last year plus 20%. So it must have been
Hmm.
something big because he passed out. One thing I want to mention to you about this that I thought was funny, and we're gonna start wrapping up, is that the scene where the cops come busting in, everybody is grouped up, their hands in the air, or just froze where they are, right?
Yeah.
And Ellen is frozen with one hand up at his of Clark's shoulder, I guess, and the other one's across his crotch.
Yeah.
And the lady who is the wife of the boss guy says, when she found out what's going on, the boss is like, "Yeah, this is my worker here, Griswold, and his wife and family." And she takes her hand off of his crotch and shakes hands with her, and puts it right back. Puts it right back where it
Put it
was.
right back on it.
And she said she did that in one take, hoping that it would make the final cut, and it did.
That's hilarious.
I can't imagine that not make if they had seen that not making the final cut because it wasn't. It wasn't. Best I understand, it's not a part of the original idea
Right.
that they had for it. So if that's the case, and she come up with that and they liked it, that was genius.
Heck
Um,
yeah.
so I won't go over a lot of the trivia things. If y'all want to check out some trivia on this, go to imdb.com and search Christmas Vacation. Some good trivia in here about the movie as well. A few interesting tidbits here and there about some stuff. I have read several off to you during the process, but not a lot of them. And basically, we're gonna go ahead and cut this to about 45 minutes this week. That's our sweet spot. We've been trying to hit consistently anyway, if we can. Sometimes,
Right.
sometimes we go over, we get carried away, but it's all good. Um, hey, if you are listening to us for the first time, of course, we thank you for listening. Please be sure you share us with your friends and your family. Put us out there in front of everybody, and if they like, 80s movies and such as well, you can also direct them to our YouTube channel, Retro Life for You. And on the YouTube channel, we have everything from here on video that you're listening to on audio, and we are, starting to add more and more stuff to it. So, some things for like 90s and let's say 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe 2000s, early 2000s. But TV, music, stuff like that eventually is going to be up there as well. Just a matter of, like I said earlier, finding the time to squeeze things in. And
Yep.
not if it wasn't for editing, I'd put everything in there just as it is and let everybody enjoy it like that. And I may do that. I may put some rough video in there and say, "Hey, this is the everyday life. This is what we're talking about. This is just for fun. We'll
Some
kick
people
this
might enjoy
around."
that.
They might, we're done no fancy editing, no fancy edits, no cuts and anything like that. This is what it is. We're
Hmm.
kick back talking about matter of fact, we have a episode coming up this month that's gonna be just an extra release for the week. Not this week, but I mean it's just like a bonus episode. Like we
Hmm.
did last year when we did TV cartoons for last year. We talked about Rudolph and Snow and Frosty
Yeah, for sure.
with Cindy. This year, a couple of friends of the show, hopefully Travis as well, if he can make it. I don't know because
Yep.
I'm trying to find a day where I can get everybody on. And so far, the only tough person to get on at the same time is Travis because it's during the week. Everybody else is off during the week,
Right.
in the evenings anyway.
Yeah.
So we're trying to work something out there we get everybody at least. We're trying to get 3 or 4 people on at once, and we're gonna just sit back and discuss things like our favorite things we got at Christmas growing up.
I love it.
So it's just gonna be a little hangout session, and we might even try and do it live if we can. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Um, So the social medias, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, Retro Life for you, the number 4 YOU. Our website is www.retrolife, the number 4, the letter u.com. And if you want to reach us on email for any suggestions for future content or questions or comments, you can reach us at retrolife4u@gmail.com. Travis,
Oh yeah.
do you have any Christmas spirit to pass on to people as we leave?
I don't today.
You
Caught
don't
me on a
today?
bad day. I don't.
Man,
Not anything that's appropriate enough for me to say. Ha ha.
caught you. Yeah, see, I wish I had been prepared in because I could have came up with something that would have
Oh yeah.
maybe. Well, I could have.
I know you could
It's like
take a shot at it.
if I had known that you did not have anything that you were going to talk about at the end of the show, I could have
Yeah.
Googled something at the very least.
You
And
could have.
I could have, and I still could have if my computer wasn't
Shit,
freezing
ill
up. So
prepared.
if that's
Yeah. Let's go with an old. You could go with an old dad joke.
an old dad joke, let's see,
Yeah.
what would be a,
Yeah.
just an old dad joke, a good dad joke.
You could say, you know how to make a Kleenex dance, don't you?
Put a little boogie in it.